Yo, what is going on, you guys? Bastion Wise here, and today guys, I'm going to be coming at you with my ban list prediction for January, February 2023 ban list. Should be coming up before Photon Hypernova, but we'll see how Konami wants to go ahead and handle this. Now, I have made a specific ban list. I have my thoughts on each and every single one of these cards as far as what I think should and what I want to happen. So this is a ban list prediction, but I am going to throw a few wish list things in there as well, sprinkled in just to give it a little bit of extra flavor, a little bit of spice here and there. So if you guys have not checked out my 5 decks that could be easily fixed with one card, definitely go ahead and make sure you do so before you watch this video. That way you're not thrown off guard when I go ahead and mention these cards. So we're gonna have a good time, a fun time today, guys. So make sure you sit back, relax, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe, like button, and let's get right into this prediction, guys. So I want to go ahead and start things off with a bang. So in my video that I made a few days back, about last week, I said that 5 decks could really come off as tier 1 contenders, potentially high rogue to tier 1 contenders, with just one card coming off the ban list. So I'm gonna go ahead and, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and save that for the end. I'm not gonna get carried away myself. Let's go ahead and go over what cards I think Konami will hit and should hit on the ban list as my prediction. So number 1 that I have on the list is Kit Kalos. So Kit Kalos it's gotten to the point where this needs to be banned. Reason why I say that is so easily abusable by the tier limit strategy that to mill 5 and use it in combination with Merleys to mill 8, and then you hit Kelbeck and Agido. If you're playing Agido and you get mill another 5, you mill your entire deck, but it all really starts with Kit Kalos. We have seen in the OCG that even this is not nearly enough to stop the deck. It is still winning right now with a 30% topping ratio of tier limit representation right now. Even with Kit Kalos banned, Rhinoheart is limited over there. I think Hopness is at 2, Sheeran is at 2, or something like that, something crazy. And it's still doing the things it's doing. I believe even the field spell is limited right now. So let's go ahead and take a page out of the OCG for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and hit it again with the tier limits, with Hopness getting banned as well. So let's talk about Hopness, right? Hopness, I believe to be the issue with tier limit, just being able to have that much playability during your opponent's turn. I don't think should be legal. I just don't think that having our turn is fun for anybody, and being able to just watch your opponent go off for 10-15 minutes and then you draw for turn, summon a monster, and then continue to go off on your turn for another 10-15 minutes, it's just not fun to necessarily play against, unless you yourself are playing tier limit, in which case you get to chain link 14-15 and you guys have a merry old time. But I think that having this ability to be able to activate during your opponent's turn, giving you additional plays during your opponent's turn, is just really toxic at the moment, guys. So I do not condone Hopness being legal in this current format. I just think that is going to be another big reason as to why tier limit is so freaking oppressive in the current format. And essentially, if you want to get out of this tier 0 format, we have to make big swings, big decisions, and this is going to definitely be one of them. Also, with After Photon Hypernova, tier limit are still getting more support through cash tier limit. That mermaid looking cash tier 1 still mills from top of your deck, so you do have that to look forward to as well if you're a tier limit player. But then we're gonna hit it one more time just to be safe with Kelbeck. Kelbeck needs to be limited. Not only is it a hand trap, aka Hopness, but it also again allows you to mill 5. There's a reason that people play this over Agido, this being a hand trap. Agido not having nearly the same or even close to effect that Kelbeck has, I think goes really it makes sense as to why you'd want to go ahead and play Kelbeck. I mean, it has interruption, again it's a hand trap, it mills 5, I mean it does so many things for the deck. I just think Kelbeck needs to be limited to 1. That way, is consistency of the deck. The consistency of an RNG deck shouldn't be 100%. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And this is what I'm doing to go ahead and counteract this. Konami failed to hinder tier limit from being the #1 deck over in the OCG. I don't think we should make that same mistake here in the TCG. But again, another card that's going for tier limits, guys, is going to be Instant Fusion. Now, Instant Fusion can go one of 2 ways. It can either stay as limited if they ban Kit Kalos. If they don't ban Kit Kalos and limit it, which makes no sense, then you need to ban Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion is such an abusable card, and being able to shuffle it back with the Ishizu cards, being able to activate it again later on in your turn, or later on in a different turn to summon another Kit Kalos, I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. So these two can switch places if they want to, if you need to, but either Instant Fusion goes or Kit Kalos goes. One of them has to go because this deck is absolutely ridiculous. So now that we are done obliterating Tearlament from being a tier 0 deck, now this I think it makes it a much more fair deck. You can still play King of the Swamp to go into your Root Kalos, same as the OCG is doing, so you should be okay to still play this deck, but I don't think it'll still have the same consistency, therefore taking it out of its tier 0 throne. Ooh, that was tough work getting rid of Tearlaments, guys. But let's get on to the next deck. Next deck we have Sprites. Sprites aren't gonna get away for free, okay? Sprite Elf we have next. So Sprite Elf. So the thing with Sprite Elf right now, I just want to go ahead and say it is way too splashable. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that right off the bat. It is probably the most splashable card I've probably ever read in my entire life. And that's really the main issue with it. I mean, it's being I put it in an agent deck. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Go ahead and check that out if you want to see how the agents are going to look. It can splash in the tier 0 Tearlament, splash in a lot of different decks. I think Sprite Elf really just needs to get limited right now, just because the overall versatility of this card is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that everything it points to can be targeted, giving your cards protection, recursion. If you play it in Sprite, it gives you immediate access to cards like Totally Awesome or any other extensions out there as well. It gives you an additional follow-up play the following turn as well, being able to special summon your Sprite Blue, and then you go into Jet, yada yada yada. You go on about your full combo plays, even if you have 0 cards in your hand. So Sprite Elf is a phenomenal card. Me playing Sprites as well, I think this card is absolutely just bananas, and you definitely play it at 3. Some people play at 2. You people are crazy. You definitely play this as a 3 of. At least my personal opinion, you play it as a 3 of. And Sprite Elf is just really good, but just unfortunately too generic of a card in order to be able to be let to roam free. If it had a restriction where you need to control a Sprite monster in order to activate the effect, except for Sprite Elf, okay, it would make a lot more sense. It would be a lot more, you know, archetype centric, and it wouldn't be nearly as splashable. Similarly, things can be said about Sprite Sprint, but that card literally just came out like 2 months ago, so it's realistically not gonna get hit. So let's go ahead and keep that in mind. Now moving on to the third best deck of the format, we have Fluanderies and Fluanderies. Stormwinds has to go. Listen. As someone who has played Fluanderies for a little bit there, okay, I've messed around with the deck. At any time you summon Stormwinds, you're pretty much winning unless you get Impermed or Dark Ruler Reward, which is essentially they're non-searchable cards. It's sackiness of it, and this card right here, the Stormwinds, is easily searchable, easily accessible through Cash Tier, and now as well. You can easily go ahead and special summon out, obviously, Fluanderies. You could do it with Seymour Bird back at Tri-Brigade format. This is the easiest barrier statue to bring out and special summon. Either on your opponent's turn, on your turn, doesn't matter, at the very end of your turn, summon it, and then your opponent has to deal with it. So honestly, I just think Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds can really just go at this point. It's a really oppressive card and has won games entirely on its own. And like I said before, the only reason that this card is on here is because, at least in comparison to the other Barrier Statues, is because the Winged Beast type along with the Wind attribute just make it really accessible to a lot of other archetypes out there, and really easy to go ahead and abuse with other top tier decks. So that is my opinion as to why Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds just needs to go right off the bat. Let's go ahead and get rid of it, and then we can go ahead and kiss it goodbye from there. So also, with Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds being gone, this does open up some other opportunities, other avenues for Seymour to come back to 1. So Seymour Bird was really a horribly oppressive it was a horribly oppressive card during the Bird Up Tri-Brigade Lyralust strategy. You summon this guy out for free, and then for free you get to go ahead and special summon out Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds with essentially no cost whatsoever. You just summon it out from your deck, you don't even search it, you just slap it onto the field, no problem. With Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds being gone, I think that Seymour Bird can go ahead and come back to 3, and not to 3, to 1. Really, you just only play 1 in your Bird Up strategy anyway, and that's really the only deck that really takes advantage of this. Maybe Harpies as well, but really Harpies like to stay more in archetype. So Tri-Brigade Lyralust will have another additional boss monster for it, which is nice. Tri-Brigade Lyralust not doing anything anytime soon, so So, and I mean, it's really the only reason this got banned was because it summoned out Stormwinds or Apex Avian. Apex Avian is just a 1 negation, guys. It's nothing that crazy, not as impressive as Stormwinds. Now, this does have other qualities as well that make it really good, but honestly, let's be realistic, guys. I think the banning of Stormwinds does open up the window, I should say, for this Seymour Bird to come. I actually have no idea what the actual name of this card is. I just call it Seymour Bird. So anyway, Seymour the Link 3, go ahead and come back to the limited. Now, a card that has come back to 1 and is not doing anything in the current format is Change of Heart. I wholeheartedly believe that this card can come back to 3, but I think Konami's going to go ahead and take it slow and semi-limit Change of Heart. And I think slowly and eventually over time it will come back to 3. I think that other cards should come back to potentially 2 and 3, them being Monster Reborn, things like that. No one's really playing right now, but that's my personal opinion. I'm not putting them on this list right now. I'm just saying that because Change of Heart went to 1 a few ban lists ago, bringing it to 2, let's seeing how it's able to go ahead and compare with the current format. Just go ahead and take it from there. A lot of the top tier decks the cards are making are either untargetable, or they can go ahead and get rid of them if they are targeted as well. So that being the case for Change of Heart to go 2, and we'll see where it goes from there. If we see a lot more meta reliability on Change of Heart, then maybe cut it back to 1, but let's go ahead and test it out how it goes at 2, and then from there we can go ahead and scale it back or scale it up if we need to go ahead and do that as well. Also, this would make a fantastic out to the Kashtira board, just being able to take your opponent's Kashtira Era or Kashtira Shangri-La, which I think is able to be targeted. I may be mistaken, or if not, you take their other Xyz monster as well, whatever. The point is you get to go ahead and take one of their cards as well. Also, this is an immediate bait of negation, so really good card as well. Next up, guys, we have one of our consistency cards. I have Pot of Desires. Let's go ahead and unlimit this card. I mean, it's not doing anything at 2, nothing oppressive at 2. No one really understands why it got limited to begin with, why it's even on the ban list to begin with. Maybe to stop Grand Maju, which makes no sense, or maybe tunes, but let's be real here. I mean, let's go ahead and unlimit Pot of Desires. I mean, Konami, you had your fun. Let's go ahead and bring it back. Bring your boy back. Okay. Next up, guys, I have a list of cards that I went over in my 5 decks that could become tier 1 with just a card coming off the ban list. So now we've completed the predictions, guys. Now we're going a little bit more into the wish list Copium side, and I'm going to start it off with Spiral Master Plan coming back to 1. So Master Plan just gives so much needed consistency to the Spiral strategy, being able to search out everything you essentially need for Spiral to go ahead and go clean off in a deck. That really, its main thing is to summon Spiral Sleeper, which is a double pop on your opponent's turn, and you go ahead and take it from there. But at this current point in the game, a double pop should not mean the end of your turn, given the amount and severity of the hand traps that are now available to us that were not available to us in 2017, 2018 when this deck was full power for about 2 weeks and the ban list destroyed it. So I think let Spiral come back, let it see what we can do, and let's go ahead and add a little bit more diversity to the entire format. I think this is a good move. I think it's going to bring back a lot of really passionate Spiral players, and obviously I think Spiral is a really cool deck. I don't like that it stacks you, but you know, let's go ahead and keep drones at 1, if not limit drones. And once that's gone, we can go ahead and take it from there, guys. But honestly, I really like Master Plan. Let's go ahead and bring it back to 1 and see what Spirals does in this format. Next up on our list, guys, I have a card that was limited and now will be re-limited. I have Prankits Meow Meow Mew. So Prankits was the best deck of 2021 leading into 2022. Just being able to blow up your opponent's board multiple times was wild to begin with, and just the overall consistency that this deck had, pretty much being able to play as many hand traps as possible. I've seen decks that played 18 to 20 hand traps in a deck, and you still go clean off because it's all 1 card engines. You have all your Prankits places, and then you can search any of your Prankits, and any of your Prankits are immediate 1 card starters. So Prankits Meow Meow Mew really elevated this deck into a tier 1 to potentially almost tier 0 status. Also mixing it with the Adventure Package engine, which the Adventure Package is something we can talk about at a later date. It's not really, the second this got banned, the Adventure Package just went out the window, and no one's pretty much heard of it since then, but I digress. So I think Prankits Meow Meow Mew is Prankits overall as a deck deck has come to the point where it's been power crept to the point where I don't believe that it would be a tier 0 deck. I think it would be a low tier 1 deck. If anything, is being able to blow up the board is still nice, but Cashier being able to plug up your zones does hurt the deck slightly as well, so let's go ahead and make sure that we're keeping that into consideration as well. Next one is another Copium, Hopium, whatever you want to call it, guys. The deck that can come back is Orchis Harpor. Orchis Harpor, let's go ahead and let's just limit this. Just limit the card, okay? I mean, what's Orchis really gonna do with one Harport? Yeah, it's gonna make the deck actually viable, and that's what we want to do. We want to have more diversity. People love playing Orchis, and any diverse format is really gonna go ahead and benefit. Just throw Orchis to limited, and then we'll go ahead and call it a day from there. Other cards that need to be limited are gonna go ahead and follow with Masterpiece. This is the most Copium probably on this list, probably second most Copium. Once we finish the list, you guys let me know in the comment section down below, and flame me in the comment section down below if you disagree with this, but that's perfectly fine. So anyway, guys, I think Masterpiece got to the point where every format, every meta needs a villain, right? We have tier elements being the villain. True Draco was the villainiest, the villainiest of all villainists or villains of this entire game. I want to say this is probably one of the most hardest boss monsters to get over in any format, but I still think that Masterpiece at 1 would be a lot of fun for True Draco players. Now, True Draco, I think it would be a top tier 2 deck, not necessarily tier 1, just because it has no consistency whatsoever at the current moment. I mean, Diagram is at 1, a Card of Demise is no longer an option as well. Upstart Goblin is at 1. All the cards that essentially made this deck wildly consistent are now at 1 or forbidden or whatever might have you. So I do not believe that True Draco is going to be a tier 1 deck. I think even with Masterpiece, it would be a tier 2 deck. It's still really strong tier 2 deck, being able to play cards like Skill Drain, Soul Drain, any floodgate you can definitely think of. This deck can definitely play it, and it is very characters, a lot of fun. But honestly, it would be probably the best tier 2 deck. Let's be real here. 2 more cards I want to go ahead and put up here, guys, is Heavy Metal Foes Electromite and Zodiac Trident. Trident, I should say. I know Copium, Hopium, whatever you want to go ahead and call it, guys. I just want to go ahead and say this, okay? Tridents, Zodiacs overall aren't doing anything in the current format, and they haven't done anything. Even when Trident was at 1, even with the single, all Trident does is give the deck a pop during your turn, your opponent's turn, once per turn, whatever might have you. That's really all it's going to do, and it's not going to affect you guys in any big way. In fact, if anything, Spiral's probably the better of the two, because Spiral Sleeper can pop 2 cards. Let's go ahead and call it like it is. So if you guys are scared of Zodiac, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. It just is a can you get over my Zeus deck with being able to make it with like 6, 7, 8 materials possibly, but I don't believe Zodiac is going to be that much of an issue. Again, similar to True Draco, it'll probably be a tier 2 deck even with Trident at 1, but the card that I am most excited for is Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. Konami keeps trying to push pendulums, but pendulums are not good. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Draco Slayer stuff was nice. It was, you know, it can combo off really hard and make some phenomenal boards. But let's be real here, it's not going to win any YCS or regional anytime soon. I think with Electromite, it gives it even more of a shot to go ahead and do so. Maybe even bringing back the Pendulum Magician strategy from all that while back. I think it would be really interesting to see. But overall, that is going to be it for my current Banlist prediction and Banlist wish list all mixed into one. It's really not much that I want to see unlimited at the current moment. Semi-limited is something that I'm kind of on the fence about. One card I did forget about was Call by the Grave, which either needs to be at 3 or banned. So let me know what you guys think about Call by the Grave in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think of the list in the comment section down below. I know I didn't really focus too much on the unlimited and semi-limited side, but I really just want to go ahead and make sure that we're able to fix this format and able to fix it in a way that's going to be fun for everybody. So let me know again what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe if you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.